Okay, so we're doing some more Blackout tattoos. I think that's what this is.
Yeah,
And
so...
I think we already reacted to some of this guy's shit, but I think he sent like 45 emails
Oh
or
my
something.
goodness.
So,
Alright,
yeah.
so this one says, sorry the pics aren't great. I have to do them myself, but have almost completed first pass. These are for your pleasure. No pressure to post. 45 pictures later. Have sent a few nondescript emails if you want to go back and find progress.
I think I've already done some of it, but...
And then is this the same? My artist has never done extensive black work, and I doubt anyone in my state is experienced in this. We are taking it slow using 15 and 27 mags with dynamic triple black. I'm 15 hours deep. Any advice? I watch your channel, and if anyone knows, it's you.
I just don't understand the necessity of using different needle groupings for this, especially on an arm. Like maybe when he's rounding certain surfaces, he's using a 15.
Or maybe they're just not very good at getting a full touchdown with the big mag.
Well, I just don't know where you would be switching. Maybe
they're more proficient with the smaller mag. I'm more proficient with the smaller mag.
Yeah, but like then why use the 27 at all? Like typically you're not doing a lot of changing needle groupings with blackouts unless you're doing like little finicky areas that you can't get in.
There's no finicky areas.
You know what
here.
I mean? Like you could maybe make an argument that there's some spots that you could get into easier with a smaller mag, but with blackout there's not really a whole lot of fussing. For example, like there's when Terry's doing for his first passes, he likes to use a 27, but for his second passes, he's been using 49, even got a 57 going recently. And he just finds that the 27 will pack denser on a first pass, especially if you're covering something. Whereas when you're going in to do like tweaks and adjustments and second passes,
smoothing.
The smoothing tool with a bigger mag works. But here we're only talking a first pass, I believe. I don't think any of this has been passed more than once. And it looks like they're having some real trouble getting solid saturation here. I don't think you necessarily have to be particularly proficient at the art of blackout necessarily. I think that, like we seen with the one guy who had the walk-in blackout with that trad guy who had a pretty good result, it's just about being very good at color packing. And then from there, I think understanding that you can't work on like a person for very long with blackout. Like you'll see like Deco Kamanu, or however you say his name, or like Hood will do these one-shot blackouts, and the reason they're able to do that is that they understand the skin to a level where they can get that much ink into someone in a fairly short span of time.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas it might take someone like this 20 hours to do that. By that point, when you're raking someone's skin for that long, you're doing way too much damage to them, and their body can't heal that much work, right?
I think like what I've been trying to do when I'm packing any kind of color in is I'm trying to really slow myself down, and like in that first like little bit I'm just trying to figure out, make sure that my hand speed is right with my machine speed, and then I'm getting in my color in that first pass, because the more you have to go over it, the more damage you're causing, right? And then the harder of a time you're having. So if you like, or you're really slowing down and you're doing your little like scrubbing motions and you're getting it in that first try as smooth as you can, it's better than like going like super fast and having it be like all
I would say that with blackout,
empty.
the path to getting a good result is going to be getting the color in right mostly the first time. So like the idea that you get it in without causing a lot of trauma, right? And then you would come back then would be the second pass.
Yep.
You don't really want to be doing like multiple hits into the same area with blackout. You kind of want to, you either get it in or you don't. And if you start doing this thing where you get your ego up and you start going, oh, well, I'll get it in there, like you're actually going to be losing more than you're going to be benefiting from that.
I just feel like if you're meticulous and you get it in that first try, then you're good.
Yeah, because when you come back like over and over again, you're beating the skin up, you're putting more holes in there, and then all of a sudden you're actually losing ink, right? Because it's going to push out.
Yeah, you don't want to cause a ton of trauma. Anytime you're packing color, you want to try to cause less trauma.
Yeah, so, but this, it's literally just that. There's nothing else. And so any amount of that is going to show through. And so I think he said that there's no one proficient in his state. And I would say that that's most likely wrong. It's just that, like even in this city, the only person who's posting it at all is Terry. That doesn't mean he's the only one who can do it. It just means that not everyone wants to be doing this all the time. So it just is what it is. I think anyone who's doing solid color packing on a regular basis can get you there. And,
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I don't really think there's much more to say there. So let's move on to the next one.
All right. So this one says, "Hey guys, hope all is well. Love the content you put out. Really helps with game planning future projects. So just dropping a line showing off the new work. I have the classic buddy got out of jail and learned to tattoo. So yeah, let's do some tribal and an iron cross at 17 years old in your kitchen. So 25 years later, I finally decided what I wanted, especially after seeing your black work. Currently all one pass, second pass coming soon. Fluffy Crepe Monster from 1982 Creep Show, and also second pass coming soon to highlight and frame him in more cohesively. Again, appreciate all the knowledge you're dropping. By the way, you're kind of an a-hole. Nipples aren't that bad. That nipple was horrendous. What? Keep up the strong work. Arm was 6 months healed when starting chest/back.
I don't agree. I mean, I just recently had mine done for the 8th time, and I didn't mind it. It's, I think,
I just think you
overblown.
have no feeling in your nipples anymore. So.
I mean, they
They've
didn't
been
find.
pierced how many times?
Yeah, but I didn't find them bad the first time, really. Like
You're
I
special.
even the first time I did it, it was like, this is what all the hubbub's about. Because it's like, it's not like you can be there long. Like when we're working on my lower back or something, where you can be there long. The nipples, like, yeah, you're in and out of this. It's more like a piercing.
I do think some people have way more sensitive nipples than other people.
Yeah, but that you could say that about anything, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I tell people that all the time.
literally any part of your body, it's going to be, you know, you got to try it to find out whether it's pain or not. And I still mean that, to say that. Like, I mean, there's parts, like, people will ask me what the most painful spot is, and it's always like, well, I really can't tell you because it's going to be different for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
anytime anybody comes and, like, sits in my chair and they're like, is it going to hurt? I'm like, yeah, maybe not. Like, your body's different than my body, so.
The worst thing for this guy is I can already tell you that nipple isn't solid.
No.
You can still see
I
it.
see pink.
Yeah. And
Have
that
fun
was...
with your second pass.
Well, at least one more, and if you care. A lot of people don't. I see so many nipples that aren't solid. I've even seen Hood do nipples that aren't solid because they only did one pass.
Oh, gee.
It's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, a lot of people, they get so traumatized by an experience that they never want to go back into it. Here you can see that why you need a second pass in his arm here.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good, but you can see the skin showing through there.
Yeah.
Just has a bit of a red glow to it in some of these areas. It's just where the
Yeah,
black
just
is.
a little shallow.
If this was black and gray work, you would never see any problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just because there's nothing to take your eye off of it. Any little inconsistency in the black is going to show through, and this is why I always say you do need at least 2 passes, and don't be ashamed if you need more than 2. The guy who did it did a good job. This isn't a knock on him. It's just the nature of the game. You know, you can see it more or less everywhere. And how wonderful would it be if you could keep that solid black color like that? There's
Like
nothing.
the fresh?
Yeah,
I
there's
know,
nothing
right?
that looks better than fresh black.
So beautiful. One day we'll get to that.
That's why when I see fresh blackout stuff, like when people send me that as their like blackout tattoo, I'm like, I can do nothing with this because any quality of black work looks fairly similar when it's fresh.
Yeah, you gotta
Right.
see it healed.
It can only really be judged when it's healed. Yeah, I did the back panel too.
Yeah, that looks cool. I like the shape that they're doing on these panels too. I think it's quite nice, very flattering to the form.
I just wonder if he's planning on doing anything on the bottom there. But I want to see this creature he was talking. Is this the top of it?
No, that's someone else, I think.
Oh, okay, that's Buddy from before. Yeah, I just put these in the wrong order. That's okay. I kind of like the scratchy finish.
Yeah.
We can talk a minute about that.
Right.
I just hate how it's so separated.
So this is the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. We'll just talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
If you're really going to have this scratchy finish here, then what I would recommend is definitely bringing it up farther into
Do the scratchy armpit.
the underneath. And you got to connect the top and bottom there, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. I don't need to meander
This is the
on
monster.
that. Yeah, I like the monster.
Yeah, I do too.
I think he does need a little more love, for sure. But he's pretty nice. I think that he can marry well into this Blackout. I would bring the Blackout right into and around him.
Right? Touch the top.
I don't think you even need...
But it looks like maybe they did, though, because the nipple's not done here. This is the same side as his nipple.
Yeah, so maybe he just sent me an old picture of the guy.
Yeah, in like a different order. And then we can kind of see what was there before.
This is what he had there, the
Yeah.
tribal. We don't see the Iron Cross, probably for the best.
Yeah, we don't really want that, but...
Yeah,
Good new life choices for you, though. Black out that old tribal with a new tribal.
I wonder how much, like, if you were to, look into it, I wonder how many tribals are buried under Blackouts now.
Probably a lot, because you can't do anything with
Well,
tribal.
you can, but it's actually harder to cover old tribal than it is to cover Blackout, really,
Yeah.
because you get this kind of striped look when you cover negative space and black at the same time.
Yeah, you might as well just smooth out the canvas with a blackout.
Similar to that guy, Travis, that's been on the show a number of times,
that
the Tribal Dragon cover-up, where you can see multiple kinds of shades of green going over it and yellow. It will work eventually. It's really, really hard to look at when you're covering something like that, because all of the lines are very confusing almost. So believe it or not, having a black canvas where everything is just going to be dark versions of the color rather than having multiple colors or multiple shades of that color can be a little bit easier to look at and cover, honestly. And Terry hates doing cover-ups any other way.
Yeah.
He won't do them. For him, if you want to cover up from Terry, he's almost always going to black it out first now.
It's smart.
Because it's just less crazy information to look at. Whereas Rick is over there doing this fucking geometric sleeve cover-up. It's like the guy's got a lot of old bad geo work and mandala stuff. And he's putting Alien versus Predator shit over it. And it's just the most confusing thing ever to look at.
It gives me a headache every time I walk over
Imagine
when he's
working
working
on it.
that. It gives me a headache just to try, because his stencils too
Yeah.
are just crazy to begin with, and then you have that over top of I just can't even fathom.
Yeah, it's just like an information overload.
Rick's ability to dig through shit.
Well,
is
if you
insane.
can do that, you end up doing theoretically less damage to the canvas to get the result. But I mean, so few people are going to be able to pull out a masterpiece out of something that's that many tonalities and line weights and colors potentially, that it really is a high art to be able to cover things like that. And it's a lot easier on Terry's brain to just black the slate out and start from scratch from a black neutral ground rather than having all these different fucking things to work around. And then where you put each thing matters so much too in a typical cover up, and it doesn't matter at all with a Blackout. You can kind of just put things in whatever things you want, where when you have all these different shapes to cover, it's just I have to place things very deliberately now, and I can only use certain things in certain places. It's just a lot more restrictive. And even though it seems like it would be harder to cover something that's totally dark, it ends up being a lot less on the brain.